Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe, Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm duplicating the Valentina's Real Deal Holyfield breakfast taco. Stay tuned. All right, so what I'm starting with is a 15-pound brisket from Midland Meat Company, and this is a Wagyu brisket. You guys have seen me cook those Wagyu briskets before. Look at this marbling. I haven't trimmed this at all. In fact, there's just very little that I've got to trim on this brisket. Just some of this fat here on the flat. Again, this is a fillet knife, real sharp fillet knife. Just kind of glide your knife over the top of it. And what I like to do is make sure your brisket's nice and cold when you're trimming it. I think it makes it a lot easier to trim when it's cold instead of being room temperature. So that looks good. I'm not going to worry about that. Some of this decal fat has a little bit more decal fat than I like to leave on my brisket. So I'm just going to, again, lay my knife flat, and start taking some of this off. Again, a good sharp knife and a cold brisket makes it a lot easier to trim. Okay. There we go. Look at that marbling. That is amazing. So again, I'm not going to trim this a whole lot. Midland Meat Company does a pretty good job of trimming their briskets already. Let's check out the fat side. Look at this beautiful white fat here. I mean, that's when you know you got some good quality beef. So I've got a little bit, again, just to trim a little bit of fat off the top here, off the fat cap. And I will be smoking this fat cap down on my Yoder Frontiersman. So just like that. I can see the meat there, so I'm not too deep into the meat. And I'm going to trim just a little bit more of this fat right off of this edge right here. That'll give me a better look at our fat cap as well. Okay, so I still have quite a bit of fat there, right on this section right here. I like 1/4 inch of fat on the fat cap of my briskets. Again, some of this will burn down just a little bit more, but I'm just going to trim it like this actually. Let's see what we look like there. Okay, just a little bit more. Okay, trim some of this. Perfect. So you can see these little windows here. That's the meat. I don't want to go any deeper than that. So that looks good. This side is a little thin. So I'm just going to round it off and remove that so it doesn't burn. So in March of this year, we went down and took a tour of Texas barbecue places. And I got to tell you, I fell in love with Valentina's Barbecue. Met the owner there, really good guy. And the food was absolutely amazing. The brisket was good. It was so good that I went back for breakfast tacos the very next morning. And that's what I'm going to try to make today. Again, I don't think he uses Wagyu briskets. In fact, I know he doesn't. But I had a Wagyu brisket here from Midland Meat Company, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay. That looks good to me. Some of this here. Looks absolutely perfect. So as far as my rubs go, here we go. I'm using the garlic jalapeno seasonal from Victory Lane Barbecue. Oh, looks like this lid broke. I have to replace this lid. And this will make you cough if you stand really close to the rub. It's trying to get me. Excuse me. I got some beef rub from Victory Lane Barbecue as well. I'm going to go a little heavy on this. And again, this is the fat cap is going to go down on my Yoder Frontiersman. Nice and heavy, okay? This is your bark builder right here. Okay, good coating of that. And because I live in Texas and I like me a Texas style brisket, gonna add some more black pepper. This is some coarse black pepper. Just add a good layer of that as well. Oh yeah. The rubs on this pepper has an amazing flavor already, or aroma. Again, because this is a big piece of meat, it can handle all of this rub. Okay, don't be afraid to put enough rub. Traditional Texas style briskets do have more of a salt, pepper, and garlic powder, but I like a little bit more flavor than that. So there we have it. I'm gonna season the other side and I'll take you guys outside to the smoker, so stay tuned. All right guys, we're outside at the Yoder Frontiersman and I got the temperature set at 275, which is what I wanted. Now as far as the placement of the brisket, I'm gonna set it right around here. And again, that's fat cap down. So I'm anticipating this cook is gonna take probably 12 hours. So I won't be touching this except for spritzing it probably every 2 hours once my bark is set, of course. I am spritzing with apple cider vinegar and water, mix it 50-50. So we'll come back and show you a couple of clips, but other than that, it is going to smoke for 12 hours, just in time for breakfast. It's actually 6:30 p.m., so it'll be ready about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'll bring you guys back when I start spritzing, so stay tuned. All right, so we're at the 4-hour mark now, and let's take a look at the brisket. Temperature's still holding at 275. Temperature's been holding between 250 and 275 there, so let's take a look here. And the bark is establishing nicely. There we go. So just gonna spritz it again. Apple cider vinegar and water, mix it 50-50. Looking good. That's it. I still have the bark that I like, so probably a couple more hours and then I will wrap. So I'll bring you guys back at that point. It is 10:45, so just a little over 4.5 hours now that this brisket has been cooking. So looking good, coming along nicely. And we'll see you guys back when I start to wrap this brisket, so stay tuned. All right, so we're at the 6-hour mark now, and the brisket has the color that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in butcher paper. I've got just some of the spritz, again, apple cider vinegar and water. Just going to spritz it down pretty good. Then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it. Again, I'm using some butcher paper. Real simple wrap process. This. There we go. Okay, we're going to tuck the paper in on both sides. Just like that. And roll it over one more time. Just like that. So again, we're going to keep the fat cap down. Got the point end on this side here. Just going to go ahead and pick this up, put it back inside the smoker, and we're going to be looking for an internal temperature of about 203 degrees or so. So we'll see you guys probably, I don't know, the internal temperature, I checked it out before I wrapped it, and our internal temperature was 167. So it'll stall out for a little bit. And again, this brisket will probably take another 5 hours or so, which means the total cook time at that point will be 11 hours. So I'll let you guys know exactly how long it took once I pull it out, so stay tuned. All right, so our brisket is ready, and the total cook time was right at 11 hours, and it has been resting for 2 hours. It's still plenty hot, but you want to make sure you let your brisket rest for at least an hour. This one, again, has been resting for a couple of hours, and it's still pretty hot. So The grains of the brisket are running this way, so I'm going to take my slices up this way. But I want to see how we did on the point side and also check smoke ring. So I'm just going to cut it right around here. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that brisket. Man, that looks good. Now the other thing I like to do is, to see how we did, I mean, look how juicy this thing is slice it right in half. This is the point. Okay. It's tender, I can tell you that. So my internal temperature was 203 degrees, and that's when it was probing really, really tender. But here we go. So super, super juicy, really moist. You can see that in the picture. Nice smoke ring as well. So I'm going to take some slices off of the flat. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how I'm going to assemble these tacos from Valentina's Barbecue. So stay tuned. All right, let's assemble these Valentina's, the real deal Holyfield tacos. I got myself a couple of fresh flour tortillas here. Now I made these, I didn't actually make these tortillas, but you can buy these. That's the next best thing to homemade. They're these raw flour tortillas. You just bring them home and cook them. They're ready like in 60 seconds. So that's what I'm going to use today. At Valentina's, they do use homemade flour tortillas. So the first thing that is in the taco is some refried beans. So I got some refried beans here. Just going to smear a little bit on each one. Just like that. And these are homemade beans. You can use the canned ones if you wanted to, or I think there's even some instant ones you can buy in a bag. So there's our beans. The next step is to add some potatoes. And I fried these potatoes up here. Oh, there's a fly in here. It's winter and the flies are still around. It's crazy. So just a little bit of potatoes just like that. Let me add some potatoes to this taco here. Just like that. All right. So we got our beans and we got our potatoes. And the next thing that's in the real deal Holyfield taco is a strip of bacon. All right. Got our strip of bacon in there. The next thing, believe it or not, and again, these are breakfast tacos that they make. They put an entire fried egg in each taco. Just like that. Looks absolutely amazing just like that. But again, this is a real deal Holyfield taco. So at Valentina's, they put a nice hearty slice of brisket. And let me make some room for this. Look at that. Oh man, this is insane. This is insane. But you know, I bought a couple of them. I was thinking, okay, well, I could probably eat a couple of these tacos, you know, no big deal. But once I got them, they were really big. I mean, they were this big right here. So I'm going to back the camera up and let's give this a taste. Stay tuned. All right, I've got my tacos assembled here. My Valentina's real deal Holyfield tacos. Again, it's got some beans, refried beans, some potatoes, some bacon, a fried egg, a good slice of brisket, and also they make a Serrano tomato sauce. So I've made my own Serrano sauce. Again, I just use 8 Serranos, 2 red tomatoes, 1 tomatillo, 2 heads of garlic, and half an onion. Just boil it, put it in the blender, salt and pepper, just a splash of oregano to give it a little pop, and there you have it, amazing salsa. So I'm gonna grab one of these tacos here. I'm gonna grab this one right here. And guys, this is about how big they are when you buy them. So if you go to Valentina's and you have an appetite, you're probably only gonna eat one because it's a big taco. I mean, there's a lot in this taco right here, but it's my all-time favorite. So Cheers. Here we go, guys. Man, that brisket's good. The bacon. Absolutely amazing taco. This is a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing better than a fresh brisket taco. Absolutely delicious. Guys, I would highly recommend you visit Valentina's or make your own tacos just like this. Again, it takes a long time, 11 and a half hours on the brisket or so, you know, to make the bacon, the potatoes, the beans, the salsa. It's a lot of work to get it done, but it's absolutely worth it. Thanks for watching. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Ask me any questions. Until next time, Joe at Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.